Okay, so you know the drill. You send us your stuff, and we dig in and try to pull out the good stuff, the stuff that really matters.
Yep, the key insights that can give you an edge, almost like a cheap sheet to being well informed really fast.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're taking a look at communication and really specifically what this QuoCentric training calls copywriting mastery.
And it's interesting because they use that term copywriting, but it's really about mastering communication itself.
Yeah. And the goal here isn't just about writing better emails or anything like that. It's about these principles that they say can improve like everything, your business, your outcomes, how you connect with people in your life.
Yeah, it's pretty ambitious, but these foundational concepts are pretty potent.
Yeah, for sure. And we know you're already dealing with information overload like all the time.
Right.
So we're going to try to cut through all that and focus on the principles that can really move the needle for you.
Exactly.
So one of the first things that jumped out at me from this quo-centric material is this idea that copywriting and communication are really kind of the same thing.
They're like two sides of the same coin. They're very connected.
Yeah, and they encourage you to really view them as working together.
Yeah.
So anytime you see them talking about copywriting mastery, just kind of translate that to communication mastery in your head.
Yeah, and what's so cool is that it goes way beyond just business, you know?
Oh, for sure.
It impacts your relationships, your spouse, your kids' friends, and even how you communicate with yourself.
Yeah, how often do we even stop and think about that? Like, what are we even saying to ourselves in our heads?
It's true.
And the training says that by really getting good at this communication stuff, it can actually lead to some huge breakthroughs in your personal life.
Yeah, it's like communication mastery is this ultimate business multiplier.
Definitely.
You know, it's what takes those, transactional efforts and turns them into lasting customer relationships.
It goes way beyond just writing a better email, which, that on its own can feel pretty tactical. But this is about a fundamental shift in how you operate.
It's a significant undertaking.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is the training aims to like break down these big ideas,
Yeah.
into digestible and actionable steps so you can actually see some results from applying it all.
Yeah, and one of the biggest themes that came up is this idea that communication mastery or copywriting mastery, as they call it, is like the glue that holds everything in your business together.
It makes everything stick together.
Yeah, you can have all the right pieces, but if you
Yeah.
don't have the glue, they're just going to fall apart.
Right.
Use the analogy that communication mastery makes your business come together and flourish, so all of those individual efforts actually start generating results.
And it's what makes you magnetic and irresistible in your market.
Yeah, for sure.
It's what really helps you shift from being the hunted to becoming the hunter.
Yeah, instead of chasing after all the clients all the time,
Yeah.
you kind of position yourself so that they come to you. And I actually have a story about that.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 2005, I was definitely the hunted. I was doing all the things everybody else was doing, throwing money at marketing, trying every new tactic. And honestly, I was getting nowhere.
Oh, I know that feeling. That's rough.
It's so frustrating. And, you're pouring resources into advertising and you're not seeing any return.
Yeah. And the impact goes beyond just the financial side of things,
Well,
too.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. This really messed with my self-esteem,
Yeah.
My confidence just tanked, and it started affecting my relationships with my family and friends because I was so stressed all the time and feeling like a failure.
It's easy to let that stuff bleed into other areas of your life.
Yeah, and that brings us to kind of a turning point for me, which was this realization that everything matters.
Everything.
Like everything. It's not just about which marketing strategy you're using or the product itself, but like your entire approach, your thoughts, your words, the way you're thinking, your behavior. How do you talk to yourself? How do you talk to other people? Your mindset, your state of mind, everything.
That's a lot to consider.
Yeah, and I actually had a mentor who said this to me.
Yeah.
He said everything matters, and that was kind of a big moment for me.
Did things start to shift after that?
They did. I stopped chasing clients and they actually started reaching out to me.
Wow.
I started getting messages like, what do I need to do to be on your team? How do I join MDI, which was a coaching program I had?
Yeah.
How do I get into High Traffic Academy, which was another thing I was doing?
That's incredible.
And even, Roberta, she messaged me and said, why should I keep promoting this company if you're not involved anymore?
It really shows you that people buy people.
Yeah.
The product or the company is almost secondary
It is.
to the individual and the connection they've made with that person.
Yeah, Roberta's message really drives that home.
For sure.
Okay, so that's kind of the foundation. Now, the training gets into what they call the 3 big ideas for this module.
Okay, let's hear them.
And the first one is deceptively simple. It's What business are you in?
What business are you in?
And most people's immediate response is something very transactional. I sell products, I offer services, I create information products, I do affiliate marketing, whatever.
That's pretty standard.
And the training immediately says, if that's your thinking, you're done.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty direct.
Yeah, it gets your attention. And they make this distinction between making a transaction and acquiring a customer.
Interesting.
If you're focused on making transactions, you're just a commodity.
You're replaceable.
Exactly. But if you shift your mindset to acquiring a customer, that changes everything.
It's a whole different ball game.
Because you're thinking long term, you're thinking about the lifetime value of that customer.
Wait, instead of just that one sale.
Exactly. And they connect this to the kind of lifestyle you want, that house, that car, those trips you want to take.
Yeah.
It's your loyal customers, your tribe that will fund all of that.
So getting clear on that is super important.
Yeah. It's essential.
Okay, what's the second big idea?
The second one is you don't have a business. You are a business.
Okay. That's a little out there.
It's a little counterintuitive for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but they use these examples of like really successful companies and founders.
Go ahead.
Amazon and Jeff Bezos, Their argument is that Amazon's massive growth is totally tied to Bezos's mindset and his ability to communicate his vision.
Interesting.
Apple and Steve Jobs was the vision. He was the driving force even when everybody doubted him.
Yeah, he was Apple in a lot of ways.
He was. And Elon Musk, this guy puts everything on the line, in all his businesses.
Yeah, he's definitely all in.
They're not just running a business, they are the business.
That's a powerful way to think about it.
It is. And they contrast this with people who join a company and think they have a business now.
Right, because they're working for someone else.
Yeah, and they encourage you to be unreasonable about it.
Reasonable.
Like totally believe that you are the key to your success. And they even talk about having backup plans. They say if you're relying on plan B, you're not fully committed to being the business.
Interesting.
And it ties into having a clear purpose and a vision,
Right.
really embodying what you want to achieve.
So like with Apple, people weren't just buying a computer.
Right.
They were buying into Steve Jobs.
Exactly. His passion, his vision.
Okay, so what's the third big idea?
The third one is don't force, just let.
Don't force, just let.
Yeah, and it sounds super simple, but they say it's often overlooked.
Okay, I can see.
And they use these analogies like you can't force a flower to bloom. You can't force a tree to grow. You can't force someone to like you.
That's true.
And that includes your customers. You
Yeah.
can't force them to love you.
You gotta let it happen naturally.
Yeah, and when you try to force things, there's always pushback,
Yeah.
Think about when someone tries to pressure you into doing something you don't want to do.
Oh, yeah. You resist immediately.
Exactly. And it's the same in business. Trying to force outcomes can actually backfire. I remember when I was trying so hard to force sales,
Yeah.
I was so frustrated. I was angry. It was messing up my mental state, my relationships.
Yeah, I've been there. It's not fun.
And they talk about money as being more than just physical currency,
Oh, yeah.
It's an idea, it's energy.
Okay.
And they say that by cultivating the right inner state and developing the right skills, what they call the invisible level,
The invisible level.
you can actually become irresistible to money.
Interesting.
So it's not about hustling and grinding, it's about this inner game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they hint at future modules where they'll dive deeper into the principles and secrets of how to just let while still effectively communicating and building your tribe.
Okay, so we're gonna have to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, they use this analogy of trying to glue things together with the wrong materials.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to use water to glue metal together.
It's not gonna work.
It's not going to hold. Communication mastery is the right glue.
The glue that makes it all come together.
Exactly. So let's quickly recap the 3 big ideas.
Okay.
First, you're in the business of acquiring a customer, not just making transactions.
Got it.
Second, you don't have a business. You are the business.
Makes sense.
And third, don't force. Just let.
Okay, those are some powerful concepts.
Yeah. And the training promises to build on these in future deep dives.
I'm looking forward to it.
So here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
Out of those 3 big ideas, which one really hits home for you right now? And how might just shifting your perspective on that one idea change your approach and your outcomes moving forward?
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Really consider how these ideas challenge the assumptions you have about what it takes to be successful.
That's a great point. All right, that's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you in the next one.
See them?
Bye.